We're up to it, though.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Nedarim, Perek Aleph, Chapter 11, Mishnah Yud, Mishnah 9. All right. Before we go through the Mishnah, a quick introduction that will be very helpful for keeping track of what's going on in this Mishnah. There are three ways for a woman to leave her father's domain with regard to Nedarim. Right? A father has the power to cancel his daughter's Nedarim. There are three ways that she leaves his domain, meaning there's three ways that he loses the ability to cancel her Nedarim. A, she gets fully married. She goes from the Nisuin. That means she went to through the chuppah, she's out. That means even if she's widowed, even if she's divorced, she is out of her father's control. Her father dies. Very practical. He's not around. C, she becomes a begeres after 12 and a half. She's considered a full adult, and she will therefore not be under his domain for the Nedarim anymore. So if you remember these three things, based on combinations of these three factors, the Mishnah lists 9 possible cases of a woman who is outside her father's domain. That's what the Mishnah is doing. 9 cases, but the 9 cases are all going to revolve around these three things. Either she is fully married, her father dies, she becomes a begeres. So you may wonder, why all the cases are needed. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But if you have these three principles in your mind, we'll be able to put together everything the Mishnah says. So says the Mishnah, Teisha na'aris nidreyan kayamin. There are 9 na'aris. Now, na'aris means a young woman. And typically, nara is very specifically a young girl between the age of 12 and 12 and a half. In this part of the Mishnah, the word na'ara has nothing to do with that. It means a young woman. So Teisha na'aris nidreyan kayamin. There are 9 women who their neder will stand. That means there is no ability for the father to cancel them. So here we go. The first case is Boigeres Vehi Yesema. Literally translated means she's a Boigeres, she's an adult, and she's an orphan. In this context, she is not an actual orphan. Her father is well and alive. But she's called an orphan because there is a halacha that once a girl goes through Nisuin, she goes to the chuppah, her father has no more domain over her. She's referred to as Yesema B'chaya Av, an orphan during the lifetime of her father, because her father doesn't have control over her. It's like he's not there. So that's the context here. Begeres v'Yesema means she's a Begeres, and she is a Yesema. That means she has gone through a full marriage. So what this case exactly really is the following. One who made a neder when she was a begeres. She was already 12 and a half when she made the neder, and she is an orphan in her father's lifetime, which means she was fully married, was then widowed or divorced as a nara. She then became a begeres and made a neder. Follow that case? She was married and fully married, and then she got divorced. And then she became a begeres, meaning she was a nara. She was 12 when she got married. Between 12 and 12 and a half, she got married and divorced. She then becomes a begeres 12 and a half, and she made a neder. She made a neder. We say that is a neder that the father cannot cancel. For 2 reasons he can't cancel it. Number 1, she went through a full marriage. And number 2, she's a begeres. She's 12 and a half. But in this case, she made the neder when she was a begeres after all that. So for 2 reasons, the father has no ability to cancel her neder. Next case, nara ubagra v'hi yesema. A nara and a begeres, and she's a yesema. What that means here is she made a neder when she was a nara, and she later became a begeres, and she was already widowed and divorced from her husband. So again, the case is where she was widowed or divorced as a nara, and then became a begeres. When did she make her neder? While she was a nara. So she made her neder when she was a nara, between 12 and 12 and a half. She got married, she got divorced, and then she became a begeres. So again, she's got this neder, and all this can be happening very quickly, theoretically, just for the sake of discussion. There is still time of the day for the father to theoretically be able to cancel it from the time that he heard about it. But at the end of the day, what happened here is the similar issues. She went through a full marriage. and she became a begeris, and therefore there are two reasons why the father cannot cancel the neder. In this second case, when did she make the neder? When she was a nara, not when she was a begeris. When she was a nara, she made the neder, and then she was again married fully. She went through chuppah. Then she was divorced or widowed. So she was already out of the father's control because of the fact that she went through a full marriage, and it happens to be in this case, she also became a begeris by the time he wants to go ahead and cancel it. So therefore, you've got two reasons to say why the father can't do it. The last case is Nara Shaloi Bag Ravihi Saima. She's a Nara. She made the neder when she was a Nara between 12 and 12 and a half. She didn't become a begeris. We're not talking about that. She already became 12, and she's already at the age of 12 and a half when he wants to cancel it. The Hiyasaima. But she's an orphan, meaning the same case as before. She got married between 12 and 12 and a half, and she was widowed or divorced, and she went ahead and she made her neder when she was a nara. So, and the father now hears about the neder, he wants to cancel it. He can't. Why? Even though she's not a begeris yet, she didn't reach 12 and a half, but she went through a full marriage after being a nara. She went through the chuppah that takes her out of the father's domain. In this third case, there's one reason why he cannot cancel her vow. So basically, we took these three, we made a different, scenario in each case. Not that one is more of a novel idea more than the other, but basically we have this combination of the different factors, and we say that, and in this case, the factor that we keep focusing on, meaning in all the cases, what we had here is that she had once gone through a full marriage. And therefore, take that and combine it with the other scenarios. At the end of the day, there'll either be two reasons why the father can't cancel it, or one reason. And that's going to be the pattern for the rest of the Mishnah. What's the matter?
What if she goes back to her father?
Doesn't make a difference. She's out he doesn't have domain over her anymore. That's the halacha. Once she got married, right, even if she got divorced and wouldn't go back to the father does not have his control over her anymore.
There's a case where...
Okay, but that's the halacha. We'll have to talk about it later. A Kohen going back to eating truma is a different story. Eating truma is a different story, but he can't cancel her neder.
All right.
Okay, next series. Begeres umei savia. She made a neder when she was a begeres, and then her father died. Actually died. Okay? So in that case, here again, what do we have? We have two reasons to say that he can't cancel her neder. Number one, when she made the neder, she was already 12 and a half. So she was already out of his domain. She was out of his domain for that. And he died. He's not around anymore. So again, you have two reasons why to say there's no cancellation of her vow, as the ruling of the Mishnah is. Nedarim kayamin. Their neder is going to last. It's going to stand. It's going to stand here for two reasons. Next case. Nara begeres umei savia. She made a neder when she was a nara. Then she became a begeres. And then her father died. We added one more factor here. We had in the case here where she made the neder when she was a nara. She became a begeres. Her father died. Again, two reasons to say there's no cancellation of her vow. Last case, Nara Shaloi Bagro Meisavia. She made a neder when she was a Nara. She didn't become a begeris, and then the father died. So here again, what do you have? One reason why there's no cancellation of her vow, because he's not around anymore. She never became a begeris. We're not talking about at this point of being a begeris. We're talking about before she even became a begeris. But once he died, he's not around to cancel it, and therefore her neder is going to stand. Next, we have Nara Shemeis Avia Bagra. She made a neder when she was a Nara. And then her father, did I skip something here? No. Right. Nara Shemeis Avia Bagra. She made a neder when she was a Nara. Her father died. And then once her father died, she became a begeris. Again, we have two reasons why her neder is going to stand. Number one, she became her father died, and number two, she became a begeris. Next, begeris v'viyakayim. She made a neder when she was a begeris, and her father's still alive. How many reasons there to say that he can't cancel a neder? One, she's a begeris. And then you have Nara begeris v'viyakayim. She made a neder when she was a Nara, then she became a begeris, and her father's alive. So here too, what do you have? You have the fact that she's a begeris to say that there is no cancellation of her vow because of one reason. The father's alive. He's not dead. He's around. He has the ability to go ahead and cancel, but he doesn't have the halachic ability to cancel because she became a begeris. So here in the third case, we had all the different scenarios revolving around her being a begeris. Okay, so I'll read to you from the notes here. In truth, these 9 cases can be reduced to 3. A woman who was fully married, a woman whose father died, a begeris. That means she became a full adult. She became 12 and a half. If a woman is in any one of these circumstances, her Nedarim cannot be canceled by her father, regardless of all the other circumstances in her life. The Tana of our Mishnah made different combinations of these factors to create 9 cases in order to encourage discussion and stimulate the minds of his students. So you didn't need all these scenarios. It was just to get the students to get their minds going. The main point is, if a woman has any of these, if a woman falls into any one of these categories, fully married, father died, or she's a begeris, that woman will not have her Nedarim canceled. The Mishnah concludes, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Af hamasi bitoi katana, even a person who goes ahead and marries off his daughter katana, she's a minor. I mean, she's younger than 12, which she's allowed to do. She has the ability to do. When Salmana in Iskarsha, she became widowed or she got divorced. V'chazer etzloi, and because of that, she went back to him. Dayan hi nara, she is still treated like a nara who never married, and her father can cancel an Nedarim until she becomes a begeris. According to Rabbi Yehuda, this is what you were bringing up before. Rabbi Yehuda says is that when we say that a woman who gets fully married, even when she goes back to her father's house, the father has no control over her Nedarim. According to Yehuda, that is not so if this all took place that she married and she went back to him while she's a katana. Okay, while she was a katana. If everything that happened to her, her marriage, her divorce, her becoming widowed, happened while she was a katana minor under the age of 12, and then again, and she goes back to her father because of that, which typically is going to happen, she is still like a nara. That means she's like an unmarried nara. She's like an unmarried young woman who is in her father's domain for canceling the vows. And according to Yehuda, that's what's going to happen here too. If the case is, so according to Yehuda, what we have been discussing, when we say that a woman gets married, fully married, she's out of her father's domain, even if she goes back to her father's house because she was widowed or divorced, that will only apply to a girl from the age of a nara. But if we're talking about here that everything happened while she was a katana, then we say that she's like back into under his domain. That is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. And I don't see here the Rabbi is saying who the halacha is like. But that's Rabbi Yehuda. Afamasabita katana, he married off his daughter while a katana, and while she was a katana, she became widowed or divorced, and she went back to him. She is still considered a nara. She's still under his domain control to cancel her nedarim. Have a wonderful day. A good night.
Thank you very much.